Before the KD news, another breaking story this afternoon, Al. This one in college athletics. USC and UCLA are considering moving from the Pac-12 to the Big Ten. This story first reported by John Wilner of the San Jose Mercury News, confirmed by Heather Dinich. A source has confirmed that the schools are considering the move as early as 2024, which has blindsided the Pac-12. There's still a formal notification process as the two schools have to let the Pac-12 know their intentions to leave. USC and UCLA also have to formally apply to the Big Ten, a process that is underway according to a source. Rest in peace, the Alliance. College Game Day's Kirk Herbstreit joining us now alongside our college football reporter Heather Dinich. And Heather, let's start with you. What motivated this move here?
Well, athletic directors and university presidents all over the country are watching the Big Ten and the SEC flex their muscles as they are poised to separate as the biggest, wealthiest conferences in all of college football. The Big Ten is reportedly on the brink of a $1 billion TV deal, meaning its schools are going to make upwards of $100 million per school per year. So who wants in? USC and UCLA, according to reports, reached out to the Big Ten. They told Adam Rittenberg, a source in the Big Ten, that that's how it happened, not the other way around. This is about positioning themselves for the future and not only taking care of their football teams, but also making sure they've got enough revenue to take care of their Olympic sports for the years to come.
So much deja vu happening, Herbie. We saw this very same story last summer with the announcement that Texas and Oklahoma would be heading to the SEC. What impact do you anticipate that these kinds of moves are going to have on college football as a whole?
I think OU and Texas were the first dominoes, and now USC and UCLA are the next dominoes. And I don't think we're done. You know, I think what Heather is saying is just the reality of our world. We don't have to agree with it. We can jump up and down if we're traditionalists. What in the heck's going on with OU and Texas and the SEC and now USC and UCLA and the Big Ten? Keep your seatbelt on because they're not done. What Heather is saying is real. It's very, very hard for the ACC, the Big 12, and the Pac-12 to compete with the Big Two. And honestly, I think that's our future. I don't know how, I haven't spoken with anybody, but I think that's where this thing, when the dust settles, that's where we're going to be. With about 50 to 55 teams, half of them in the Big Ten, half of them in the SEC. For simplifying it, think AFC, NFC, and the NFL. You're going to have that Saturdays. You're going to have three divisions, West, Middle, and East, or South, and that's what it's going to be. And I think there's going to be some very tough decisions because you're going to keep out a lot of teams that want to be a part of this future, and they're not going to be invited. So it's going to be more of the haves versus the have-nots in big-time college athletics.
Yeah, and the teams you're referring to will be potentially Power 5 schools that are going to be on the outside as we talk about a potential organization ruled in college football separately from the NCAA. Heather, the reaction, what have you gathered from around the college football world here?
Well, one person within the Pac-12 is already calling themselves the Pac-10, and he told me that this is Bob Bowlesby all over again, referring to the Big 12 commissioner. And he told me we got Soonered and we got horned, obviously referring to OU and Texas. People I've spoken to have said exactly what Kirk said, that this is not over. This is only the first wave of it to fall. Some people have said, what does this mean for the Rose Bowl? You're talking about decades of a college football tradition and partnership between those two conferences. Oh, by the way, who are also a part of the alliance with the ACC. What does this mean for those relationships? So there are a lot of questions, but I think the two big takeaways are that this is not over yet and that college football is certainly at its most volatile point.
Herbie hitting us with the Thanos. This is inevitable. RD, Reese Davis, is going to be joining us here on the show with his perspective on this huge news as well. Thank you so much, Kirk Herbstreit, Heather Dinich.